I'll be talking about closing global opportunities in nursing healthcare. So these are the things that I'll be talking about today. First is, of course, the role of nursing in global healthcare. So let's a little bit get a glimpse of what significant role do nurses have in the global setting. So of course, no, nurses are like taking care of the world. So let's see more kung where do we fit in nga ba dito sa global setting natin. Of course, no. Um Right now, nurses are in demand na naman abroad. So let's talk about some specialties of nursing abroad. What are the options that we can take, for example, or like any other possible opportunities that those who are still studying nursing can possibly take no, whenever they want to migrate abroad naman. And next is the Filipino nurses in the global stage. Of course, when we say nursing, one of the things that comes into mind of the people are Filipinos. So, syempre maraming Pilipino and magagaling na mga nurses abroad. And the American dream, ayan. So, right now, again, the demand for nurses abroad, especially in the US, is very high na naman. So, let's talk about that. How can we present this idea to nurses? And probably, of course, who are those of you who are still wanting to go to the US sooner or later naman. And last is navigating the NCLEX RN. And so, we'll talk about basic steps, right? And in basic information that you need to do in order for you to take the NCLEX because the NCLEX is the very first step towards achieving that American dream naman. Or Australian and Canadian dream for that matter kasi tatlo yung pwedeng paggamitan ng license natin for our NCLEX naman. So, what is the role of nursing in the global healthcare? So I anchored this discussion with the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. So are we familiar with the SDGs ng UN? How many nga ulit ito? I think it's around 17. And one of the significant aspect of the United Nations SDG is this one, leaving no one behind down. And they can do that by providing these things such as universal health coverage. I think in the Philippines, meron na tayong universal healthcare under PhilHealth, no? And of course, the goal here is to protect everyone and to provide some sort of assurances na whenever they get sick naman is at least meron tayong pang sustain doon sa ating mga hospitalizations, no? And of course, we have mental health and non-communicable diseases right now, no? Especially with the advent of the pandemic, nagiging malaking issue ngayon yung mental health. And before, no, it's a little bit taboo whenever people are talking about, for example, problems with anxieties or depressions for that matter. Eh ngayon, no, with the advent of the pandemic, nagiging common theme na yung mga anxiety and depression for that matter, no? The good thing about here is that nagiging, ano na siya, part na siya ng normal conversations ng mga tao, unlike before. And definitely, this is one of the things that the United Nations want to achieve, etong mental health and non-communicable diseases naman na pag-manage. Of course, no, very integral ito, no? Especially ngayon at medyo prone yung mga tao sa stress. Yeah. So, if you're familiar with with the movie na Inside Out, no, one of the additional emotion that they included there is anxiety kasi of course, no, again, this has been a common topic na across everyone, no. And emergency preparedness and response, no, especially in the Philippines. The Philippines is one of the pinaka-prone to disasters, no. So I guess siguro is like one of the things that our policymakers can achieve, can promote probably in nursing schools is disaster nursing. I understand na hindi gaano ito ka dinidiscuss with nursing schools, but then again, with climate change, like right now, no, we're really having grabing temperature this 2024. So this is part of climate change na and emergency preparedness and response is going to be an important aspect of these SDGs and patient safety. For example, no, sa NCLEX, it all boils down to patient safety. No, whenever you took the NCLEX, it all boils down to patient safety. Whatever choices you want to choose there, it all boils down to patient safety. No, and I'm curious lang, no, if Is there anyone po in the group that has taken the NCLEX before? Meron ba? Meron ba tayong mga kabaro na USRNs na? Do we have? Or inexperienced na mag-review for that matter? Meron ba? Wala? Okay. A little bit shy siguro. Anyway, and lastly is delivery of integrated people and centered care. Especially siguro this is community, no? People-centered care. No? I mean, of course, the nursing involves a lot of interventions with people, collaboration with people. So yeah. And um it says here that nurses account for 59% of healthcare professions. So like for example, 59 in every 100 healthcare worker are nurses. Ang laki, no? It's like more than majority of the healthcare professionals are nurses. So it constitutes really a lot of responsibility on our end in achieving this goal, itong sustainable development goals na ito with regard to universal health coverage. And right now, according to the data ng State of World's Nursing in 2020, there are around 27.9 million nurses worldwide. That's a lot. Grabe, no? That's really a lot. Parang, but then again, no? We have almost 28 million nurses worldwide, but then again, kulang pa rin tayo ng almost 6 million as of today. So it's like, where can we get those demand for manpower ng nurses? No? That's really interesting, no? It's really interesting. So this numbers that we see here and like the goals that we want to achieve with the inline doon sa goal ng SDG na leaving no one behind, no? Nurses has really a pivotal role in achieving itong SDG, and I think SDG is going to parang I think it's 2030 malapit na, no? But then again, right now we have 6 million shortage of nurses worldwide despite of us having around 28 million na nurses na existing. Okay? Next is ito. If you'll notice here with this graph, this data is coming from State of World's Nursing in 2020. This is a very interesting graph. I like a picture for that matter because of course the bluer the country, the higher the ratio of nurses versus patients. So if you'll notice here, the mga countries na medyo developed, like for example, you have Americas, we have Europe there, you have Australia and New Zealand there, mas mataas yung pagiging blue nila. They are medyo mayayaman silang country. Majority of them are coming from OECD countries, And if you notice naman dito sa baba, like below the equator for that matter, Africa, highly red, We have their Asia with pinaka dyan is like we have their Pakistan, we have their Myanmar, we have Cambodia and Laos, there. So and interestingly, the Philippines is not that blue, considering that Philippines is producing a lot of nurses. No, this is one of the parang dysfunctional siguro idea about this one kasi the Philippines is one of the top producers of nurses, but then again, yung density niya is low, And based on the data ni State of World's Nursing, the greatest gaps, in nursing are coming from Africa. Okay, we have their Southeast Asia, we have Eastern Mediterranean, and we have in Latin America. Of course, for example, sa case ng Latin America naman, we have a lot of nurses coming from the from that region, especially for example Mexico, katabihan ng US, and we have also a lot of Latin people, working in the nursing field. But then again, meron disparity. Like right now, in the case of Africa, just for the case of IPAS, right now in our program, we have around 300 African students. Mostly are coming from Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, and I think we have several also from Ivory Coast. But then again, if you're going to look at the map here, puro red ang mga iyan. They are somewhere here, yung mga na-mention ko na countries, But then again, they are the top producer, one of the top producers as well of nurses in that region. Pero red, So later, you will somehow a little bit know kung bakit ganito yung nagiging itsura ng State of World's Nursing in terms of density ng nursing personnel per 10,000 population because of migration naman. Okay, like for example, yung mga African students namin, ang trajectory kasi nila is to go to the US. No, they are being sponsored by our partners, and then after passing the NCLEX, eventually they have to go to the United States to work there. Right? So, next, oops, sorry. Ayan. Probably siguro this is one of the reasons on why a lot of students, including me and our students in the program and those our students from Africa naman wants to go abroad, no? So these are just the few, okay, of some specialties and the projected income, for example, that one can have, when they start working there in the United States. So this data is coming from Gwynedd Mercy University in 2021. So of course, no, when uh, an immigrant nurse goes to the US, no? So syempre registered nurse muna 'yan, no? Entry-level nurse. And the growth that is expected there in the US is around 15%. That is just the increase on top of the existing demand pa yan. So they are employed majority in hospitals, residential care facilities, and others. And the median annual salary for RNs, entry-level RNs in the US is around 78 thousand US dollars. No? So, ang laki. Yan. Huge disparity from what our fellow nurses are getting here in the Philippines. No? It's like, where can you get $78,000 in 1 year here in the Philippines? No? Ang baba, no? And correct me if I'm wrong, I understand it's like not all hospitals for that matter are implementing yung SG-15 na salary for entry-level nurses. No, I think it's government yata yun. I'm not really familiar with that, so correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, when nurses are working here in the private hospital, siguro mga nasa around 20 to 25,000 pesos per month yung kinikita nila. So that is way too low compared dito sa possible kikitain nila when they are being registered nurses naman in the US. Entry level pa lang yun, ha? Okay, entry level pa lang yun. Now, for example, medyo nag-level up, no? They went into higher education, they got masters there in the US, then they have the opportunity to be nurse practitioners naman. Okay? So, with the NPs na tinatawag natin, mas double dito yung demand. There's an 31% increase in demands, and they are mostly employed in hospitals and doctors' offices. No? Like right now kasi, well, the saturation of NPs vary depending on the state. Kasi for example, if you are like on the East Coast, ang daming NPs doon. So, minsan yan nagkaka-problem with job opportunities kasi saturated na yung market for the NPs in the East Coast. So, karamihan yan sa kanila, if they have like compact states naman, they go to the other states na medyo hindi ganun kadaming NP. Kasi of course, no, when, aside of course from the specialty that you got from an NP, no, I mean, the salary is like 103,000, like 104 for that matter. Median lang yan annually. No? So, next is we have the clinical nurse specialist. There's an expected 16% increase in that one. And median salary here is like around 94,000 US dollars in 1 year. Ayan, yung mga CNS. And we also have our FNPs. Ayan, if they go to further education, no, they can possibly get around 124,000 US dollars annually. If you are an FNP for that matter, no. This is one good thing. For example, if you're going to work in the US, kasi there are a lot of potential growth for you professionally. We have a lot of specialties, no, like this one. This is just the basic 6, no, and there's a lot of others pa that you can get. If masipag tayo mag-aral doon. Then we have travel nursing. Travel nursing right now is one of the in-demand form of nursing in the US kasi, like for example, we have millennial nurses or like Gen Z nurses for that matter. I mean, traveling is like mahilig sila dyan, no? And there's travel nursing there, no? And yung 110,000 median na annually, this is a little bit low actually, no? Kasi we have nurses before who are travel nurses na, especially in California, they're like earning around 100 to 120 US dollars per hour. No? So sometimes, no, we knew or like we have some stories from our nurses na ginagawa nila is like if they're a travel nurse, they work for the for the next 3 months, nag-iipon sila ng money, and then for the next 3 months they go somewhere else to take a vacation, no? Kasi maraming kinita. And then after 3 months na vacation, they go to tropical place or like go back to the Philippines, and then they going to work again for the next 3 months. Ganon yung ginagawa ng iba because of the high salary that they get as a travel nurse. Okay? And of course, one of the requirements dito is like, syempre, you have an expansive experience with ICU and emergency nursing for that matter naman. And lastly, yung pinaka-elite na form of nursing na specialty is the CRNA. Etong Certified RN Anesthetist, no? The median salary is 196,000 US dollars in 1 year. No? But medyo expensive itong route na ito if you're going to be a CRNA kasi you have to study and medyo expensive yung schooling for the CRNA. But then again, of course, the possible salary is really worth it kasi almost 200,000 US dollars. Median lang yan. You can go higher for that matter. So, if we're going to look at the figures here, no, when you present this particular data, especially to student nurses for that matter, no, talagang malulula sila with the figures that they see. Considering, for example, what they are expected to gain in terms of their salaries if they're going to work here in the Philippines. No, like for example, majority of our students ngayon are working nurses na yan abroad, and we have a significant population of students coming from the Middle East and Canada for that matter, no? Na they're still going to attempt to take the NCLEX kasi with these figures that they see. No? For example, if you're an RN in Saudi Arabia for that matter, you cannot get 78,000 US dollars in 1 year. No? So, and especially of course, no, na one of the reasons why some of the nurses are wanting to migrate to the US na or Australia or Canada for that matter is because of pension. Kasi they tell us na after they exit the kingdom, wala na silang pension. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yan. So do we have po ba anyone here in the group that has worked in the Middle East before? Meron ba? Meron po ba dito yung nag-Middle East before? No? Kasi it's like for nurses to, medyo yan yung isa sa pinaka initial jump start for career abroad, yung Middle East naman. And, okay, sorry for this. Ayan. Okay, so what is the case of Filipino nurses naman? Okay, so, what are the common migration motivations? No, according to the International Labour Organization, well, the date is from 2006 pa, but I can attest that this is still relevant kasi when we do our coaching and like open forums with our students, this is almost the common, no, na reasons din kung bakit gusto niya mag-abroad. Number one is colonial mentality. Of course, no, when we say abroad, andun yung colonial mentality natin na okay, it's always better there, no? Like greener pasture. So common pa rin itong colonial mentality. Economic need, no? Yung the previous slide, no? That will answer the economic need. No, kasi a lot of our nurses wanting to go abroad wants to elevate kumbaga yung kanyang social status in life, no? Professional development, no? The specialties, no? Hindi lang like here in the Philippines, karamihan or like the basic route that nurses go is of course the bedside, we have the community nursing, we have ano pa, education, no? Education. Right now, we have CPOs, no? Yung clinical processes outsourcing na tinatawag natin kasi yung mga BPO companies ngayon for the longest time na has been also employing nurses with licenses both in the Philippines and in the US for their processes, no? So naging competitor ngayon ng mga hospitals and nursing schools yung mga BPO because there's also high demand for nurses in the BPO industry. But then again, if you go to other countries in professional development, this is a lot, no? Like I mentioned kanina, that is just the basic 6 specialties, no? And then marami pa yan. And last is like higher standard of living. Again, with the salary, of course, no? That is anchored dito sa economic need, no? And with the idea that they want to elevate, kumbaga, yung kanilang social status naman. And here in the Philippines, ayan, according to Philippine Statistics Authority in 2017, we have around 90,308 nurses in public and private practice. That's still a lot, no? Yung 90,000 nurses. But then again, we're still, nagkukulang pa rin. We still have lacking nurses in our hospitals right now, no? And according to the PNA, no, in 2020, the actual ratio of nurses here in the Philippines is 1:60. That is what we are joking minsan na yung ratio of Filipino nurses to their workplaces is 1:1. Hindi na siya 1:60. Kasi because of the low supply of nurses, no? I mean, unfortunately, there are some issues with quality of care and safety for that matter kasi how can they expect to take care of 60 patients na isa ka lang. No, this is far way to ang layo nito from the ideal ratio of the Department of Health, which is supposedly 1:12. I don't know kung kailan, if when we're going to achieve this 1:12. I don't know if we can achieve this in our lifetime. No? Kasi like the disparity right now is 48. No, how can you lower, or like how can we take out that 48 into the ratio? No, so I don't know how we can address that one, considering na um Filipino nurses are are in demand abroad, both in demand abroad and internally then domestically. No, so I don't know how we can achieve this ideal ratio of DOH na 1:12. And according to the PHAP, we have around 20,000 nursing workforce shortage here in the Philippines alone. No? Ang dami, 'di ba? Ang dami. That is why again the demand for nursing education here in the Philippines also increased. No, this is, so I think this is somehow same phenomenon during the early 2000s na ang dami-daming nursing schools na nagsulputan during that time. No, in our case, no, yung section namin umabot na yun ng section Z yata, if I'm not mistaken. Imagine 28 sections of nursing students in just one school, no, in just 1 year, 'di ba? So I think this is one of the trends as well that is happening currently, no, because of the demand nga of nurses here and abroad for that matter. So what are the common destinations for Filipino nurses? We have here, this is coming from the various labor bureaus, no, from 2017 to 2022. We have Singapore. Right now is we have around 7,600 nurses there, Filipino nurses for that matter. Germany is one. No, this past few years, the German government has been really proactive in recruiting Filipino nurses. We have yung um tripartite something something. I'm not really familiar, but then again, that is direct hiring of the German government for Filipino nurses. No, you just have to go to training, language training, and then they're going to Germany na. Right now, we also have a lot of students based in Germany, but they are wanting to go to the US na kasi nag-NCLEX sila. We also have Australia. Right now, there are around 18,436 Filipino nurses in Australia. Now, this is together with New Zealand for that matter, kasi Australia has also been really proactive in recruiting Filipino nurses. No, I actually watched a documentary last week yata yun na some communities in Australia are already adjusting with the idea of having small Filipino community consisting mostly of nurses. Kasi that is the trend na, no? They are being deployed into a little bit remote areas kasi there are no nurses there, no? And fortunately naman, there are a lot of Filipinos wanting to go there, no, and establishing their own small Filipino communities. And also, of course, no, Saudi Arabia, a common destination yan for novice nurses. Ayan, there are around 130,000. No, ang dami. No, but again, as I mentioned, there are also a lot of nurses coming from Saudi Arabia na wanting to go to migrate somewhere else is because of the changes in benefits. We have the Saudization that is happening right now. So they are wanting they want their local nurses to work na, no? And with the, of course, adjustments nung pensions and benefits kasi wala. Okay. And UK, no? The NHS, or like National Health Service, has been also been proactive in recruiting nurses, no? Like right now, you just have to pass the English test with, I think, around 2 years of bedside experience, and then you're good to go to the UK. Ganun kasimple yung pumunta ng UK right now. Kaya we also has a lot of nurses wanting to go to the UK. But then again, we have a lot also of students in the UK preparing for the NCLEX for that matter. So they still want to migrate there. While one of the advantages of the UK naman is yung work-life balance, no? Yung sinasabi nila. But then again, we have some, there are some na hindi nila gusto yung they cannot buy property because hindi sila citizen doon. Unlike sa US, no, that you have the opportunity to buy property. Ayan, after kang maging citizen. No? And of course, United States, 143,000. That's a lot of Filipino nurses in the US right now. Madadagdagan pa yan. Madadagdagan pa yan. Kasi of course, no, me, personally, one of the reasons why I took nursing, or like one of the reasons why I shifted from my previous course to nursing is because my titas wanted me to go to the US to work as a nurse. No? Siguro marami nakarelate siya na okay, mag-nurse ka kasi by the time when we do yung nursing schools noon, it's like it's a trajectory, no, na because nga of how lucrative the offers are in the US and in terms of professional and personal growth naman, no, that will really entice a lot. So right now, no, 143,000 Filipino nurses are there in the US. Okay. So how did the American dream of Filipino nurses started? So here in the photo, this is coming from PGH. This was taken. Hold on. When was this? 1915. Yeah. So a senior class receives instruction in operating room techniques at the PGH. Ayan. So parang return demo to siguro noon nila. This is really nice kasi actual talaga na parang nasa theater. Okay. And it started in 1907 when nursing schools in the Philippines were established during the American occupation to be eventually deployed in the US. No? Kasi of course, they have shortage there for nurses. No? And with the colonization of the Philippines by the Americans during those times, no, there's an opportunity that they can train nurses and then deploy them to the US eventually. And in 1948, the Exchange Visitor Program, or the EVP, enabled nurses to work in the US for 2 years, are then required to go back to the Philippines. So this was after the Second World War. Of course, no? Ito yung mga baby boomers, no? So of course, shortage of workforce, taking care of the sick and mga casualties and diseases after the Second World War. And etong EVP na ito, this is the equivalent right now of the H-1B visa. This is the working visa. Because itong H-1B na visa na tinitake ng some nurses, this is faster compared to the other visa na kinukuha. But then again, after 2 years, you have to go back to the Philippines kasi this is not an immigrant visa. Now, in 1965, the Immigration and Nationality Act, okay, was established to allow foreigners to bring with them their families to the United States. This is right now the equivalent of the EB3, or like Employment-Based Category 3 visa of nurses. So this is the immigrant visa. What is the difference tong dalawa? H-1B, this is faster, no? Itong EVP na ito, this is faster because if I just have an employer in the US, after 6 months, you can go there na. But the catch is that hindi ka immigrant. You have to go back to the Philippines after the expiration ng contract mo doon kasi this is just a working visa. As opposed, dito sa EB3 na tinatawag natin, this is a little bit longer. It will take you 2 to 3 years for the processing and when waiting period, especially right now, we have retrogression. No? But then again, if you got the EB3 visa, no, paglabas mo ng eroplano when you go to the United States, green card holder ka na. Okay? Green card holder ka na. And then after 5 years, you have the opportunity to be US citizens. So see the difference, no? Sometimes, no, we have student passers na they are a little bit impatient. No? They want to go to the US agad-agad kasi, of course, no, with the potential income that they got. But then again, we remind them na that is not a sustainable route, yung H-1B. The more sustainable route for you to have that really good opportunity in the US is the EB3. So, antayin na lang muna natin yung 2 to 3 years. And then after that, paglabas mo ng aeroplano, green card holder ka na. Okay? So, di ba? So, imagine, being nurse and then green card holder ka na agad. Alright? So, what is the current American demand for nurses? This is just for Filipinas, but for everyone. No? Right now, according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, we have around 194,000 average annual opening for nursing positions in the US between 2020 to 2030. 194,000 positions in 1 year in the US alone. So, where are they going to get that 194,000? No, because not a lot of Americans, for that matter, are wanting to be nurses in their own country. No, so the United States are forced to look for somewhere else. And then here in the Philippines, as I mentioned kanina, we have around 23,000 shortage in the Philippines alone. No, and then they're getting the supply here. So that's a really puzzle, no? I mean, like very complicated circumstance na we don't know how we can find solutions on that one, as much as we wanted to keep are nurses there. But then again, okay, if you're presented with around 100,000 US dollars per year na salary, so sino nga naman ang tatanggi doon, di ba? And then the demand is expected to grow by 9% per year, faster than expected. Again, this is again from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. So the current demand for nurses in the US that is expected to go by 9% per year. So imagine that is for the next remaining 6 years. Because um people that are aging, nurses that are aging, maraming nagre-resign, no? Tulad nito, lastly is because nurses in the US has an average age of 52 years old right now, with majority intending to retire in the next 5 years. So the expected retirement age of nurses in the US is around 57, lower, no, younger. So kung 52 years old sila ngayon, it is expected that they're going to retire in the next 5 years. So this is the result. Demand increases by 9% per year, totaling to around 194,000 annual opening for the next remaining 6 years. So imagine the demand, diba? Imagine the demand. So what is the status of Filipino candidates in the NCLEX? Okay, in 2023, all right, this data is coming from the NCSBN, okay, National Council for States Board of Nursing, State Boards of Nursing for that matter. Ayan, last year, Philippines has been consistently the number one, no, in terms of volume of candidates. From Q1, 11,000, Q2, 7,000, Q3, 9,000, Q4, 9,500, totaling of 36,410 Filipino nurses who took the NCLEX last year alone. This is far more greater than the next one, India. Nasa 6,000 lang. So imagine, di ba? 36,000 nurses yung nag-take ng NCLEX last year. So, according to Montegrico, around 56.5% of all foreign candidates that took the NCLEX between 2003 to 2017 are from the Philippines. This is consistent with the data from 2023. 36,000, no? And with the volume naman, unfortunately, the passing rate is lower. No? So for example, here, last year, the passing rate for IENs, including Filipino candidates, is just around 48.28%, lower than their American counterparts na around 70%. No? Ang layo. This actually improved na itong 48% because they launched yung Next Gen NCLEX April last year, and the passing rate of Filipino nurses during the traditional format of the NCLEX, yung naabutan ko, that is way too low, nasa around 43% lang. That actually increased na with the launching of the Next Gen NCLEX because yung feedback is a little bit medyo madali daw itong NGN right now. Kaya as of today, no, as of this quarter, nasa around 53% na yung passing rate ng mga Filipinos sa Next Gen NCLEX, yung current format niya. So medyo may improvement. Nag-increase ng 10% compared to the traditional one. But then again, this is way too low compared to the passing rate of their American counterparts. Now, of course, no, reviewing for the NCLEX is a form of adult learning. I mean, culture is number one factor there. Language. And definitely, the setting. No? American setting is very different. Kaya siguro one of the reasons why, bakit medyo mababa yung passing rate ng ating mga Filipino nurses in the NCLEX. No? This is one thing that we want to provide solutions with. Kaya here at IPAS is we're really trying everything, no, to provide a holistic approach sa mga students namin. Okay? Para medyo mas mapataas natin yung passing rate naman. Okay, so what is the basic navigation of the NCLEX? No? So unang-una doon is like we have the eligibility application. So right now, Filipino candidates can apply sa New York. Illinois is still good. Also, Northern Mariana Islands. Okay. Texas before is good, but then again, the Texas Board of Nursing changed the requirements for foreign nurses. So they have to accomplish certain number of hours, making the requirement more a little bit complicated. So we do away from applying to Texas right now. But then again, no, we still have options like yun nga, New York, Illinois, and NMI. And of course, no, you have to review for the NCLEX. No? As I mentioned kanina, going back to the data, the passing rate of internationally educated nurses or like IENs is just 48%. No? So imagine, ang baba. Diba? Ang baba. So that is why we always encourage our students na not to rush things, no? Because the data says na mahirap yung NCLEX. On my personal experience, mahirap talaga yung NCLEX. No? It took me 8 months to prepare for the exam. And aside sa idea kasi na mahirap siya, it is expensive. No? You are expected to spend around siguro total of around 80,000 pesos before you can take the actual examination. And considering again, no, the salary of Filipino nurses here in the Philippines, saan tayo kukuha ng 80,000 pesos just for a single exam? No? So that is why we always caution our students na okay, do not take the NCLEX if you're not ready yet. Kasi it's painful to fail, and it's really expensive to fail the examination. Kasi you have to go back to zero. No, you have to like spend another 40,000 for the retake. Okay? And last is the Pearson VUE orientation. Pearson VUE orientation, this is the actual scheduling for exam after receiving the eligibility. Right now, the common timeline for a candidate to be given with an eligibility from a board of nursing, that would be around average of 6 months waiting period for the eligibility approval. And then after that, you have to go to the Pearson VUE orientation, mabilis lang to, that is around 1 to 2 weeks for the authorization to test or the ATT na tinatawag natin, and then you can schedule the exam to take the actual examination. Here's the tricky thing. Considering na the volume of nurses, Filipino nurses, wanting to take the NCLEX is really high, 36,000 Filipino nurses took the NCLEX last year. We only have 2 testing centers here in the Philippines. Fortunately, nagdadag sila ng isa here in Armstrong in Makati. Magkalapit na sila ng Trident Tower near RCBC. No? But then again, there's always a full yung slot. So that is an additional cost that Filipino candidates are going to shoulder kasi they have to take the exam somewhere in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Japan for that matter. No, yung iba nga umaabot pa ng India. No? Like halimbawa, for the case of those in the Middle East, because there's no Pearson VUE in the Middle East, the nearest that they have is in Turkey and Israel. Kasi they cannot go to Israel right now, may gera doon. So they are forced to go to India. No, we have a temporary testing center in Qatar before, but they took it out. Siguro sabi namin, probably they took out the Qatar testing area kasi they don't want nurses like in the Middle East na uh, uh, magbultuhang mag-take doon, no? Kasi of course, no, they're also a little bit apprehensive right now in the Middle East kasi nga the demand for nurses outside the Middle East is really high. No, so bumababa yung volume of nurses naman in the Middle East right now. No? And yung iba, they are forced to go to either Paris or London to take the examination for those coming from the Middle East. So imagine the cost, no? Taking the NCLEX is really costly. So that is why we caution our students that do not take the NCLEX if you're not ready. Okay? And yeah, so this is the basic things that you need to hurdle muna before you can actually sit the examination. No? Before you can sit the examination. So iba pa yung actual experience on taking the exam itself. No? Like of course, the NCLEX is computer adaptive testing, the degree of difficulty or the question that you will get, that will be dependent on your performance. No? If your graph is consistently going low, medyo alangan tayo doon, and the computer can shut down between 85 to 150 if it determines that you have a passing or failing performance na. Okay, and we have only 2 results in the NCLEX. We have a pass and fail. No? And then, for example, unfortunately, if you fail the examination, it will just give you a CPR or like a candidate performance report telling you na, okay, these are the areas that you had a above passing standard performance. These are the areas that you have a low passing below the passing standard performance, or these are the specific topics that you had a near passing standard performance. So that is lang yung makikita natin sa CPR for those failing the NCLEX. And yan. So what are the common questions, no? So where's NCLEX are recognized? So this is recognized in the US, Australia. In 2020, Australia adopted na the NCLEX as the major examination for their licensure. Before, what they do in Australia is for those nurses wanting to work there, they have to undergo the bridging program. That is costly because you have to study there in Australia for, I guess, around 3 to 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have to spend around 1 to 2 million pesos for the bridging program. So they took it out, no, and they changed that into NCLEX na lang. But nurses wanting to work in Australia, they have to hurdle another examination, that is the OSCE. So para siyang practical exams, no. Medyo costly din 'yon kasi OSCE is around 200,000 pesos. No, 250,000 pesos. So you have to go to Australia, no, train there for the OSCE kasi walang training center dito sa Philippines. Meron na yata pero kaka-start pa lang. Majority uh, are 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 training there in Australia to take the OSCE, and then after taking the OSCE, you have to go back to the Philippines and to look for your employer before you can actually work in Australia. So, eto lang yung medyo hassle kay Australia kasi you have to undergo OSCE pa. That is around 250,000 pesos on top of the 80,000 pesos na NCLEX. Expensive, no? A lot of figures, no? A lot of figures. And then Canada no, this is 2015. Error lang, no? Canada also adopted NCLEX as their major or like basic, no, competency exam for nurses wanting to work there, no? Medyo Canada right now changed their policies because nagiging competitor na nila yung US, no? Kasi we have a lot of students in Canada right now wanting to take the NCLEX because they want to work in the US. So naging competitor, so they change their policy to make the Canadian license for RNs more accessible compared to before. Okay? So can Filipino nurses apply to any Board of Nursing in the US? No. No, kasi mention kanina, we are only limited to NY, Illinois NMI because of some restrictions. Okay. So what if, for example, New York yung license mo and then you want to work in California? So, eto yung next naman. How can I practice my chosen state, in my chosen state, or state of my employer? Kasi for example, right now, we have a lot of partners that are based in Texas, other states pa for that matter. And then, what they're going to do there is like the facilities are located in their home state. Now, so for example, those nurses who has licenses in New York, they can still work in other states. So that is through the license endorsement process, wherein an NCLEX passer can be allowed to practice nursing outside of their license, home state, and yeah, I mean, for example, you want to work in California, so you just have to undergo yung mga CES evaluation. Just have to submit papers, and then the California State Board of Nursing will approve your license, and then you can work in California. You don't have to take another NCLEX for that matter kasi once lang tayo mag-taking NCLEX and the license is lifetime naman. Renewable lang siya every 3 years. So for example naman, your license is in the US but you want to work in Australia or Canada for that matter. There's also what we call score transfer, and that is vice versa. So for example naman, if your license is in Australia or like the governing body that sanctioned your NCLEX is in Australia naman, you can still work in the US by virtue of score transfer. Okay? So what are the next steps naman after passing the NCLEX? So number 1 is like you have to seek employers for reputable agencies, take the needed English examinations such as TOEIC. Okay? Fortunately, TOEIC is more accessible and more less expensive. Ayan, so that is a really great alternative for our nurses. Kasi imagine with the figures that I mentioned kanina, like 80,000 pesos for the exam, 250,000 for the OSCE, you have to go to abroad pa to take the examination, and then you have to pay another expensive examination na pagdating mo kasi the English test is needed for the visa screen. So without your kanina, no, si Sir Wallen nag-show siya ng certificates ng visa screen of their candidates naman. So yeah. So imagine, sabi ni Sir Wallen, 2.5 only for TOEIC, no? That is really convenient kasi I took IELTS noon, mahal, no? So I didn't pay for that kasi I don't have money before when I took my IELTS. So sabi ko, tita, pahingi mo ng 12,000 pesos for me to take the IELTS, no? So at least we have TOEIC right now, a very good alternative in terms of cost, no? And it's still valid for the visa screen, so why not? Diba? So So how long does the immigration process take for US applicants naman? So the average waiting period for the EB3, we're talking about the employment-based category 3, is around 2 to 3 years from filing of the I-140, or yung I-140, that is the process of seeking approval or having your priority date or your PD na tinatawag, until the interview date issuance naman. Meron lang tayong konting retrogression as of the moment, but retrogressions are just temporary, so it will go back to normal after the fiscal year na naman in October. So back to zero tayo. So mabilis na ulit yan, yung movement naman. And ayan, so I'll talk a little bit about our company. So we are iPass Processing and NCLEX Services. So we provide licensure application for the NCLEX RN, again, for USA, Australia, and Canada. We have the NCLEX Review Program. Ayan. So I'm the administrator of the review program. So iPass Online Review Mentoring Academy, the education arm of iPass Processing. We have license endorsements, no? USA and Australia to New Zealand and vice versa. And then CGFNS application. We also qualifying exam. We have if you have to go to New Zealand, again, we have the qualifying exam. We also can assist you with those things. We have offices in Manila, Davao, Cebu, and recently in Baguio. Ayan, kaka-open namin last year. And yan, we have a lot of webinars, no? Like infomercials na meron kami. So, ayan, if you notice here, ito, yung pinaka-first webinar namin is we have passers, no? Na above 45 years old. And the oldest passer that we have is etong si Ma'am Cecilia Francisco. She is 64 years old. Pumasa pa ng NCLEX and still wanting to go to the US. Ayan, no? Andyan sila. We have si Ma'am Evelyn, we have Miss Eileen, we have Miss Marilyn. No, mga 50 plus years old na yan sila. But then again, nag-take ng NCLEX, pumasa. We also have yung ano naman, here at the bottom, we have here yung mga fresh grads naman, yung bagong RNs, no? We have here, mga fresh grads ito, itong tatlong ito. Yan, marami kaming no? Students na very varied yung demographic profiles. We have mga bumbero. We have a lot of bumbero nurses, no? Na nag-take ng NCLEX and really. Kasi this is a product, no? Of the retrogression in 2008, no? Filipino nurses are forced to work somewhere else because of lack of opportunity in hospital. So that is why we see a lot of, for example, nurses who went into the Bureau of Fire, meron taga PNP, meron taga Army, we have mga flight attendants and nurses, we have a lot of nurses na nasa sales, nasa BPO, but then again, there are kumbaga nagbabalik loob, we call that nagbabalik loob sila sa nursing because of the opportunity in the US. No? Kasi as I mentioned, if you notice here, yung average age kasi ng mga test candidates namin ngayon, nasa around 33 years old and above yan sila. So majority are those who graduated during the first half of 2000 to 2010, no, that they lost the opportunity to work after graduating, and then ngayon may opportunity ulit. So they're doubling their time, no, to pass the NCLEX naman. And yeah, so last year we are proud that we are able to produce 1,284 NCLEX passers. So 2023 ngayon, ang dami talaga naming students for that matter. So we're really expecting this number to somehow double this year. Kasi again, the demand for our services here in the review program is also a product of the demand of nurses in the US, Canada, and Australia for that matter. Okay, so this is all my presentation. So